Hello everybody. Welcome to iExamBee's LegalBee. This is Amrita, your law faculty here at iExamBee. Embrace the iExamBee learning experience with us. And if you're preparing for any competitive examinations after your LLB, then you are at the right place. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel LegalBee. iExamBee provides you online courses on our website for various competitive examinations. You can check out the details of all these courses and also activate the demos of these courses. These courses help you in preparation for various competitive exams like SEBI Grade A Legal Officer, IBPS SO Law Officer, IBPS RRB Law Officer, RBI Grade B, etc. सारे कोर्सेज के डिटेल्स चेक जरूर कर लीजिएगा. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेरीज आप हमें ईमेल कर सकते हैं ऑन hello@exami.com. You can also call us on the number 920-5524028. Write to us in the comment section also if you have any queries. Prepare 50% faster with us for your job preparation. Download our app from the Google Play Store. I have started a series for the SEBI Grade A Legal Officer exam preparation of 300 most important MCQs. This is the 10th video of my series in which I am discussing Code of Civil Procedure with you. I will be discussing questions from this subject. Again, it is having good weightage in the examination as well. So we will be covering two separate videos for CPC. Part 10 as well as the upcoming part, that is part 11, will be dealing with CPC. An executing court can vary the terms of the decree, modify the terms of the decree, both modify and vary the terms of the decree, only modify but not vary the terms of the decree, neither modify nor vary the terms of the decree. So we should be very clear with these concepts and the powers of executing court. Our executing court can neither modify nor vary the terms of the decree. This is what is the exact condition, that executing court is just for execution purposes. While execution is being carried out, whatever questions arise, those questions can be determined, but they cannot modify or change, vary the terms and conditions of the decree. An executing court cannot go behind the decree. That's why we say that. Code of Civil Procedure contains 50 orders, 55 orders, 52 orders, 53 orders, 51 orders. Now, a very schematic question this is, but it is always good to have an idea, especially for CPC. We have a interesting scheme and that we need to understand. We have orders mentioned in the schedule, we have sections, so ये हमें clear होना जरूरी है. We do have 51 orders in CPC with corresponding rules, and we have first part containing 158 sections. When the court rejects an application for review under CPC, such order is not appealable by opposite party, appealable with the permission of the court, none of the above. So when the court is rejecting an application for review under CPC, in that case the order is, answer is A, not appealable in nature. Order 57, Rule 7 deals with this. Order of rejection not appealable. Objections to order granting application. An order of the court rejecting the application shall not be appealable, but an order granting an application may be objected to at once by an appeal from the order granting the application, or in an appeal from the decree or order finally passed or made in the suit. So what is being discussed over here? Review, reference, revision, all these things are important concepts, not only in civil as well as in criminal cases. Always remember these concepts should be clear to you, and also sometimes the provisions you should remember, that what are the provisions. Now in case of CPC, what is happening, you don't have only the sections but you're also having the orders, and by mistake I have mentioned order 57. It is order 47 for review here. Please consider this is 47. This is Roman numeral 47. An executing court cannot determine the questions relating to which of the following: execution of decree, discharge of decree, satisfaction of decree, modification of decree. All of the above questions can be determined. So what they are asking, what questions executing court cannot determine out of these, or else option E is correct, that all of the above mentioned questions can be determined. So the answer will be no, like that. Correct answer is D, modification of decree. We have just seen that modification or varying the terms of the decree cannot be done by an executing court. Section 47 specifies this. Questions to be determined by the court executing the decree. A civil court cannot issue commissions in which of the following cases? For examination of a person, for examination of accounts, to execute partition, execute a decree, to hold expert investigation. Remember, commissions can be issued by civil courts in which of the following cases? Very easily you can make out that option D is the correct answer here, because to execute a decree, commission is not issued. Power of the court to issue commissions is covered under section 75. Be very clear with all the conditions where it can be issued. As provided under section 79 of CPC, the suit by central government must be filed in the name of central government, Parliament of India, Union of India, state government, Attorney General of India. This is a very practical based question. Actually, we know already the answer of this is C, Union of India. All the suits by or against the government of especially the central government will be in the name of Union of India. If it's a state, then it will be with the name the state. Court is satisfied that a case pending before it involves a question of law or usage having the force of law on which the court trying the case entertains a reasonable doubt. In that case, the court may decide the matter as to validity of the act, refer the matter to Supreme Court, refer the matter to High Court. High Court should exercise the power of revision, review the validity of the act. So, if a court is satisfied that a case is pending before it and it involves a question of law usage, then in that case, the court will, correct answer is C, refer the matter to High Court. Reference is again covered over here, Order 46. Reference of question to High Court is covered under Rule 1. In how much time respondent may file cross objections from the day of service of notice of hearing of appeal? In 1 month, in 2 months, 15 days, 21 days, 45 days. What is the time period of filing cross objections has been asked over here? Correct answer is in a month. That is in 30 days you have to file it. Appeals from original decrees is covered under Order 41, Rule 22. Upon hearing, respondent may object to the decree as if he had preferred separate appeal only. So in that case, what is the time period that has been asked over here? So the time period over here will be 30 days, 1 month. No suit against the government or public officer shall be instituted until the expiration of dash period next after notice in writing has been delivered. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 45 days, 90 days. So when you are instituting a suit against the government or public officer, then it should be instituted within a period of dash many days or months after notice in writing has been delivered. It should be instituted within 2 months. Section 80 covers this notice period, and as they are government officers, public officers, they are given some extra time. So that time period is 2 months after notice in writing has been delivered to them. Interpleader suit is a suit between two advocates, between union government pleader and state government pleader, instituted by a legal representative, instituted by a person who has no interest in the subject matter, instituted by a person who has interest in the subject matter. Correct answer over here is D, instituted by a person who has no interest in the subject matter, but still he has instituted it. Interpleader suit is one in which real controversy or dispute is not between the plaintiff and the defendant, but it is rather between the defendants only who interplead against each other. The hallmark of an interpleader suit is the fact that in an interpleader suit, plaintiff is not really interested in the subject matter of the suit. Section 88 CPC deals with interpleader suits, in what cases they can be instituted. In the case of public nuisance, a suit for declaration and injunction may be instituted by two or more persons having obtained oral consent of Advocate General, two or more persons with the leave of the court, three or more persons with the leave of the court, two or more persons having obtained written consent of Advocate General, three or more persons having obtained written consent of the Advocate General. So when there is public nuisance, suit for declaration and injunction may be instituted by two or more persons with the leave of the court. Answer B is correct. Section 91 of CPC deals with public nuisances and other wrongful acts affecting the public. Alternative dispute redressal, that is ADR. This concept is mentioned in which section of CPC? 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. Now, ADR, all the ADR mechanisms like arbitration, conciliation, mediation, negotiation, civil court is having the power to refer for ADR mechanisms. But where is it mentioned under which section of CPC? Very important, this is section 89 covers this settlement of disputes outside the court. At that time, the court can refer the cases for all these ADR mechanisms: Lok Adalat, arbitration, conciliation, mediation. Under Section 96 of CPC, an appeal can lie against preliminary decree, original decree, secondary decree, interim decree, none of the above. When we talk about an appeal lying against, Section 96 of CPC talks about appeals from the original decree. So correct answer is B. An appeal can lie against original decree. Where does second appeal lie under Section 100 of CPC? Remember, second appeal, first appeal, all these are important topics. Section 100 deals with this, but where does actually second appeal go? It goes to the High Court. So correct answer is A. Second appeal lies to the High Court from the decision, or appeal lies to the High Court from the decision or judgment of the subordinate court, if the High Court is satisfied that the case involves a substantial question of law. Representative suit under Order 1 Rule 8 of CPC may be permitted by the court when numerous persons are parties in another suit, numerous persons belong to the same family, numerous persons have same interest in one suit, numerous persons are liable in one suit, none of the above. What is the correct answer over here? C. Numerous persons have same interest in one suit. Order 1, Rule 8 deals with this. One person may sue or defend on behalf of all in same interest, where there are numerous persons having the same interest in one suit only. Interlocutory orders are issued by the civil court to summon the person for execution of decree for attachment of property during pendency of civil proceedings. None of the above. Interlocutory orders means the interim ones. These are issued by the civil court during pendency of civil proceedings. Correct answer is D. Temporary injunctions and interlocutory orders, 39. Rule 6 to 10 deals with these interlocutory orders, which are during the pendency of proceedings. These are passed. The defendant shall present his written statement within dash number of days from the service of summons upon him: 15, 30, 16, 90, 120. Now this becomes a bit confusing. Your concept should be very clear, that what are the number of days, what is the maximum extent, and from when it is counted. So here what is asked? Presenting written statement from the service of summons, how many days? Correct answer is 30 days. Order 8 Rule 1 written statement. Defendant shall within 30 days from the date of service of summons upon him present a written statement of his defense. But that may be extended if suppose proper reason has been given, sufficient cause has been shown, but it should not be exceeding 90 days. In which of the following cases can a plaint be rejected? Where it does not disclose a cause of action, where the suit appears from the statement in the plaint to be barred by any law, where it is not filed in duplicate, where the relief claimed is undervalued and the plaintiff, on being required by the court to correct the valuation within a time to be fixed by the court, fails to do so. All of the above. So, rejection of plaint, what are the grounds for it? It is very well covered under Order 7 Rule 11. Rule 10 and Rule 11 both are very important from rejection of plaint, return of plaint. Both of these rules I would suggest you to prepare it properly. All of these mentioned here are the grounds. Pleading should state material facts, the law, the evidence, any facts, all of the above. It is very clear to us that pleading should state material facts only. and not evidence or law on the point. Pleadings to state material facts and not evidence. Now, any facts ही यहाँ पे गलत आंसर हो जाता है because the appropriate answer is material fact. So, Order 6, Rule 2 covers this point. It should not consist of evidence. It should not consist of any law. Last question for today's discussion. Amendment in a pleading shall be effective from the date of pleading, date of application, date of order, date decided by the court, any of the above. So the amendment in the pleading can be carried out, but when will it be considered to be effective? This is a very interesting question. Remember, the answer is B. From the date of application for amendment, you will be considering it will be effective. Not from the actual amendment being carried out, but from the date when the application for carrying out amendment was made. Order 6, Rule 17 deals with amendment of pleadings, in which it has been clarified that from where when it will be considered to be effective. I hope all of you are taking benefit of this series. Do check all the questions, do check, practice what type of questions are coming, prepare yourself in that manner, and prepare all these concepts. These can be a very good revision source for all of you. Download the PPTs and check all the questions. Prepare 50% faster with us at iExamB. In case of any queries, you can reach out to us by any of the following methods. Check out our demo course on iexamb.com. Download our app from the Google Play Store and check out the full course access available on our app. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice